This is Killer Innovations, a show about ideas, creativity, and how you can innovate. Welcome to the Innovator's Garage, where you learn to create your next game-changing killer innovation.
Welcome to Killer Innovations. I'm your host, Phil McKinney. Welcome back to the show. We are here in the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. You've probably been listening to a large number of shows that we recorded here in the new mobile studio, albeit it is, again, much nicer today. It's sunny versus the rain we had earlier in the week, which was a world record rainfall, I guess, here in Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is all about new innovations and new technologies. And again, we held an event on Monday at the Four Seasons here in Las Vegas where we bring in interesting technologies, interesting companies, and put them in front of key decision makers. And I've invited the person who actually presented on Monday at the event at the Four Seasons, Hoisoo Cho. So welcome to the show.
Hi.
So give us a little bit of background on yourself. So, listeners and I like to learn a little bit more about you. I mean, I saw you pitch, but it's 13 minutes on stage and, in front of a room of CEOs. But I'd like to know a little more about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from South Korea, and
Okay.
I work for a company called Hecas.
Mm-hmm.
Hecas is a startup. We focus on live video streaming solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so personally, I'll tell you about myself a little bit. I graduated from KAIST, Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, and I majored in IT business there. And since then, when I study about some new technologies and how those technologies are adapted in the market, those kind of things, and it really intrigues me to see, how the innovations and the way people it changes the way people live. So yeah, so that led me very naturally to become a entrepreneur. So since then, I team up with some of my friends. So I work on several projects, and then I went to some company, and then I team up again with my friends, and then now we all of us hooked up in this company called Hecas.
So, I'm assuming you're born and raised in Seoul then?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, I've been to Seoul many times. So, in my previous life. And then, is the company headquartered in Seoul, or are you based in the U.S.? What's the?
It's headquartered in Seoul.
Okay.
And we are moving forward to look for business development with in America.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And in your case, you got your degree in information technology, and you've done other entrepreneurial programs though before Hecas. You did other startups?
Other startup. It was not formal incorporation, but when I was in undergraduate, I was research assistant in one of the lab in my university, which was media network laboratory.
Right.
So there, I teamed up with some of the researchers and engineers there, and there we developed a mobile app service, and that was the very first step of my entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually building something from an end to end with a team to
Yeah.
actually turn it into something. Interesting. I was at the University of Illinois, and I was an undergraduate researcher in computer graphics.
Wow.
My original major was architecture.
Wow.
I was originally wanted to be an architect, but figured out I was much more interested and much more successful being a software engineer, which is my background. Interesting. So, but I mean, being based in, you living in Seoul, when you think about the big companies, whether it be Samsung or LG and all of that, I'm always amazed at the scale and the pace of new technologies and new innovations coming out of South Korea.
Yeah, I heard that many companies and many big global tech companies, they call South Korea as the test bed for new technology. I think it's we have small land, but many technologies that are coming up, and actually because of the our territory is relatively small, but that means we have advantage that we don't have huge investment compared to like North America.
Right.
So like the 5G infrastructure, that kind of thing, maybe we can do the like nationwide investment, but comparably in a very short time, I think.
Yeah. It does have that advantage. One is the population is very technology savvy,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
You want a lot of technology,
Yeah.
but it is that the limited geography, the size of the country itself, allows for things like wireless technologies, which is what I was involved in the 90s in South Korea, deploying some of the early cellular networks there, because it does make a good test framework for new things, because you can build it out, quote, nationwide.
Yes.
But it's a very small,
Yes.
it's a very, very small landmass, which makes it which does. But again, it's also the penetration for the population of South Korea who use technology is so high.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, it's interesting your comment about people outside of South Korea viewed as a test bed, because it really is. You can just kind of drop it into South Korea, and then if it proliferates, then you're like, okay, maybe I got something here. I should go try it.
Yeah, many
go try it
people
somewhere
around
else.
me are like technology, like early adopters.
Right. Well, I think you could describe South Korea
Yeah.
as a country as being early adopters. When you look at I'm very familiar with, we all are very familiar with Samsung and LG and the other big companies in South Korea. But you go to the Samsung booth here at the show, and it's like amazing. You go to LG, and it's like holy, and you got two big, massive companies that provide a lot of the just technologies, everything from home appliances to TV displays to
they do everything.
look, I'm a Samsung phone user, right? My entire house is Samsung, in fact, in Colorado. But it's almost disproportionate for the size of the country to the global influence.
Yeah,
right?
like we can think of that as well. But like because I think they started from like South Korea, but I think they should be regarded as like global company.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because albeit they're headquartered there, the culture is really tied to the headquarters function for both of those. I mean, I've hired employees, from Samsung, like industrial designers that were part of Samsung, designing washers and dryers, and we brought them in to design printers and laptops when I was the CTO at HP, and albeit it is global. It's like all organizations, at least as an American, HP had a very specific culture. Apple has a very specific culture. Samsung has a very specific culture, and those things have made those companies, increasingly very much on the success side. In the case of video in South Korea, you don't think of South Korea as being a real leader in, other than displays, but a lot of like the video streaming technologies, those kinds of things. At least, I don't see it. I mean, I wouldn't come to the top of my mind that South Korea would be an obvious choice.
So I'll tell you the secret. As I told you, like Korea, we are equipped with like the fascinating technologies and infrastructures that are so well equipped. So, like. In the subway, for example, everybody is watching video with their mobiles.
Yeah.
But that's not happening in United States, right? Like in subways and in this like public transportations, on the way to work or way back home, people watch videos. And thanks to the data plans, there are so many people in South Korea are subscribing the data plan with the like unlimited data, and so with that we watch video, and we love watching videos. Like for example, the live sports event, and these days there are so many the personal broadcasters, and we subscribe many of them. It's a the industry is really booming in that part. And there are so many like K-beauty or K-pop fan videos.
Right.
That kind of thing is really exploding these days.
I guess you're right, because I think in the U.S. it's still very much video on the big screen,
Yeah.
not
it's
video on the small screen. And albeit people have the unlimited plan, many of the mobile networks are not really optimized for video streaming. I mean, if you're watching a variety of different videos, that's fine. But a major sporting event, World Cup, cricket in India, NBA finals in the United States, you can actually just crush a network with all that video. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to pick up our conversation and talk more about video and video technology. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Innovation Show on the BizTalk Radio Network.
This is Killer Innovations, a show about ideas, creativity, and how you can innovate. Welcome to the Innovator's Garage, where you learn to create your next game-changing killer innovation.
Welcome back to Killer Innovations. We're going to continue our conversation with regards to where we left off in the last segment, where we were talking about video streaming to mobile devices, which seems to be pretty popular in South Korea. But what was the real problem you were trying to solve when you came up with this new company?
So the problem of current live video streaming was that actually it is called live, but live means real time, but actually it's not real time because of the latency thing. So there's two latency from the live event to the broadcast point, and the broadcast point to the end users. So there are latencies that makes users difficult to enjoy the real time excitement. So that's the point that we wanted to have some advancement with our technology. So here's the very easy situation is that when you are watching the same live match with your friends on your mobile and you're talking on the live chat, but because of the latency, the one gets the scene of the very highlight of the game very late, and he's yelling or oh yeah, it's the score thing, but still my screen doesn't show me the scene of the highlight, but you are already spoiled. Yeah, we want to fix that kind of situation.
So is it really then a synchronization problem between all those streams? Is that the challenge, or is it just universally just trying to take latency out? Synchronization, I mean, are you trying to time?
Yes.
You're really trying to time each of the shots to make sure that everybody sees the same shot at the same time.
Yeah, that's another really important part. So we want to focus on the low latency and the playback synchronization.
Okay.
Yeah, that two things, we thought that two should be achieved to really get us into the real live video.
Is it confined? I mean, do you think the problem exists just because of sports, or is it applicable to other kinds of TV shows? I mean, I know in South Korea and Japan, even in the U.S., game shows.
Yeah.
Where people are socially watching, here in the U.S., it's America's Got Talent or The Voice or whatever, and everybody's tweeting about whatever they're seeing on the show type of a thing.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, we agree that sports, I think that's the top priority.
Keep going.
But also the fan videos and in specific part, they really want to experience that moment together with the broadcaster. I think live streaming should be really improved for that kind of segment.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here as I'm listening to you describe it, that it is, if people typically think of sports as kind of the cornerstone.
Yeah.
But the whole social interaction piece really becomes the issue, right? It's whenever there's going to be a social gathering around the enjoyment of media, how do you drive this, this kinds of synchronization? I know here in the United States, for instance, professional sports leagues like the National Basketball Association, the NBA, gets very concerned about synchronization because of the betting that's allowed, gambling that's allowed on the games, right? And if somebody gets it just a little bit sooner than somebody else, then people can actually do things about that. And so, but how hard of a problem is this? I mean, is it, is there that much variability between user 1 and user 2 on when they get the video?
Usually there are like very huge difference in like getting the scene.
Really?
Yeah. But like we, because we also we see that the market potential really will come in that kind of sports, like we mentioned, like the betting, where the real time thing is really critical. But for us, it's for these days the power of the contents. It's very universal, and there's no boundary in like across the like country or border. So, but the vision that we have is that we want to present people the real time excitement and the emotion of that live event together, enjoy.
Right.
So that's how our like solution came out, and for that we adopted the MMT standard, which was very new transport technology standard, and we adopted the advantages of that standard, and we optimized that technology into the mobile environment so that people can enhance the low latency, and we can sync the playback of the synchronization across the multiple screens, but regardless of what kind of screen they have.
So in this case, with standardizing on MMT and optimizing it for mobile, as you said, is your solution specifically mobile, or does it have applications across other platforms?
We started from the mobile, and as our client player SDK can be integrated into any other devices, so it has the scalability to other.
Yes. Okay. That's a good point. It's because MMT is actually getting a little more traction now from people. But like every standard in the early days, which one do you adopt? Because there's just so many of these standards that are coming out. So we're going to talk more in the next segment specifically about the company and the product. But before we get there, what was the proof point? Did you have a trial customer that you were targeting to bring this solution to in the early days to kind of say, yes, this works? Who was it?
Oh, it was SK Telecom, the biggest telco in South Korea. So they adopted our solution for their commercial video service called Hoisoo, and we have been providing them our solution for more than a year and a half now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. So they were literally your test client then for the first,
Yeah. Because telcos are very like conservative, and they are a big entity. So at first they adopted as a like beta service. So they adopted our solution for their mobile live streaming, but they want the service stability. So what they did is they had some like parallel service with the other general streaming, and on top of that they put some buttons so it can be turned on and off. If it's turned on, our streaming works, and if it's turned off, the original streaming was still working. So that was how it happened.
Perfect. So that way you can actually see and experience the difference between the two. Perfect. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue on our conversation, a little more about the company, more specifically about the product, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to Killer Innovations on the BizTalk Radio Network.
This is Killer Innovations, a show about ideas, creativity, and how you can innovate. Welcome to the Innovator's Garage, where you learn to create your next game-changing killer innovation.
Welcome back to Killer Innovations. We're talking today with Hoisoo Cho from Hecas. Let's talk specifically about Hecas and the company. What's the stage of the company? How big are you guys now?
We are we have 15 members now.
Oh wow, 15.
Yes.
That's actually big size for a lot of
startup.
For a startup. And how long has the company been around?
We've been we are 3 years old now.
That's actually pretty good. 15 to 3 years. As we talked about in the last segment, your initial kind of client was SK Telecom, which is huge. And so where else? Tell us a little bit about the product. What stage is it at? Customers, who's using it?
So our solution is already in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So as I told before in the previous segment, it's adopted in several platforms, commercial platforms. So they are already serviced in the market. And the big one is the Hoisoo service. It's the number one mobile video service in Korea. It has 11 million subscribers now, and it's known for the fastest mobile live streaming service in the market, especially for the live sports events.
Mm-hmm.
And we also provide our live streaming solution for the 360 video streaming and the multi-view streaming at some kind of at the Incheon baseball stadium. So there you can watch the baseball match in it's not when you're just watching the baseball, you just watch the scene, the angle from the one specific point. But with that service, you can watch many points of that stadium in a very variety of angles, like that kind of thing. And our solution is also adopted in a broadcasting platform called Hecas. That's for the online B2B broadcasting service.
This is all in South Korea?
Yeah, yes, currently.
Do you have any clients outside of South Korea?
We are currently working with some overseas telecom company and broadcasting company to how to deploy this solution.
And how hard is it to deploy? I mean, you think about all that goes into the complexity of just streaming video on its own, much less than trying to take latency out and synchronize. And so, how much work does it take for a telco to use your solution and deploy it, make it available?
Actually, it's really easy. It's not a rip and replace solution.
Okay.
So our solution can be integrated into existing infrastructure, and so it works in two parts. So it's server client. Mm-hmm. So the one who want to incorporate our solution, they need to set our server software, which can be provided either on-site or in cloud. And for the user client side, there should be some kind of migration work. So if they have apps, our SDK should be integrated in their apps. Right. So it can be but its migration part can be really easily done, so that after the integration, the app can be updated in the market. So when the next time the users download the app, it's automatically integrated. So.
Yeah, but I am intrigued because in the example you gave with SK Telecom, the ability for the user to be able to hit a button and say it's running, it's not running. You literally can migrate this out where you put it out to 10% of the total users and make sure everything's working, and then you put it out to 50% of the users because of the fact that you can embed it as part of the mobile app and either just control turning it on or turning it off. But the fact that you're using MMT as a standard, is there a lot of intellectual property invention that company has done, or is it just deployment of a standard like NMT?
Our company has contributed into the standardization
Right.
point, and also our partner company SK Telecom is also doing.
Okay.
I know that many broadcasters in North America, they are pursuing the next generation broadcasting platform, and that an MMT standard was became the part of that next generation broadcasting platform. So
Right.
we see that in this standardization, this standard, MMT standard, as well as our solution can be very promising in the near future when the contents, broadcasting contents can be really interactive, become interactive, yes.
Right. So how's the company funded?
So far, actually, we have many offers from investors, but to be frank, so far we have turned down all of them because we want to be very careful to get to decide on which money to take. So that because we are looking for investors, but as well as business developing partners. So,
Well, people who can actually bring something to the table, not just money.
yes.
They have networks and contacts, et
Yes.
cetera, et cetera. So what's next? What's on the plans for the company?
For the plan is that this year we will, in the product wide, we will launch the cloud service officially, and our testing is already done, but we need some kind of official launch for our cloud service, and then we will pursue the real deals with the other clients in overseas market. Currently, we are developing the discussions and doing some testing, but we want to. That's our big plan for this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And like you said, you've only been around a fairly short period of time, 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? 15 people. Right.
Yes.
Amazing. And then your expansion into North America. What's the timeline for that?
Timeline. So in a very vague timeline is we want to finish some kind of deal till this year. I mean, at the end of this year.
Right, end of the calendar year?
Yeah.
Okay. So find some kind of an anchor client here in North America that kind of solidifies the commitment to come here
Yeah.
and support them as part of that effort. Are there other companies that are doing it? What does your competition look like? Or is there even competition for your solution?
There are some good global companies that work for live streaming thing. For example, Wowza or Bitmoving. They have they are huge now. They all started from small but became very large these days. But in terms of mobile environment and the low latency, we believe that we have some edge. So that's what we're pursuing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, and this has been a discussion globally with networks. Today networks get sold on speed,
Yeah.
right? But I think, at least this is just my personal opinion, but my personal opinion is that networks in the future will be sold on latency and reliability. So latency is becoming critical, and in fact, for most users, it's more noticeable than speed.
Yeah.
You get north of 200 megabits, 500 megabits, you don't really notice the difference, but 50 milliseconds to 5 milliseconds, you notice.
Yeah.
And that latency is going to become much more important as a critical issue, not just for your example, but even things like page loading and
Yes, it's true.
Remote monitoring of
Yes.
machinery or
Just
whatever.
the second of latency that will make the difference to to make users stay or leave the
Right.
platform.
Yeah, so it turns out to be it is the new metric, I think, that people
Yeah.
need to spend more time on, and I'm excited that there's a company out there that's recognizing the latency importance and then applying it to a very specific solution, in this case in video. And I think it's just an early indication, though, that latency, not just in video, but latency impact on a variety of different
Yeah.
kinds of applications is going to become critically more important. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to have a little more discussion about kind of the lessons learned, with a company starting from 0, growing to 15, in an area like this, and to give some advice to the listeners. What were the lessons you and the team learned through this whole process? So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. We will have all of the links, all of the information about everything we talk about in our shows over at the show notes, which is over at killerinnovations.com. So check that out. Hop on over there. You'll see that. With that, we're going to be right back after this quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Killer Innovations, a show about ideas, creativity, and how you can innovate. Welcome to the Innovator's Garage, where you learn to create your next game-changing killer innovation.
Welcome back. We're wrapping up our conversation today with Hoisoo from, I always get the pronunciation wrong, Hecas.
Right.
Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay. Which is a video delivery streaming technology that brings low latency and video synchronization so that you have the social interaction around the overall video experience. So you've had the experience of the work that you did at university, and then you've had now this experience at Hecas,
Yes.
right? So here's your opportunity to talk to the listeners of the show. You've had this experience. You're at this stage at this point. What advice would you have loved to have had? You would give to yourself back when you were just starting out? What are your lessons learned?
The very first thing I want to tell everyone is that you really need people. You cannot do like all the things by yourself. So in that part, I really appreciate my team members. They are so super talented, and I really appreciate them of their hard work, especially my technology team engineers. So especially if you are in school, which has some strength in engineering, find people and team up with them. It's schools are really a good place and good time for you to try. It's okay to fail. Actually, I myself have experience of failure when I was in undergraduate. I mean, it was not failure, but commercial failure. So we did our project very successfully, but it was not successful in commercial wise. So that's why I'm telling you, you can try and fail, but you don't lose, and you lose nothing. But you earn experience, but and it will give you more values compared to it cannot calculate in money wise, but yeah, it will make you grow more than any other experience. Yeah, that's what I want to tell you.
Yeah, I think the team thing, a lot of people underestimate how important it is, but also how hard it is to put together really good teams, right? In your case, you're suggesting they might be just the people that are around you already. If you're still in university, or you're at one company and you're thinking about starting something new, building a team around people that you trust, you respect, can be critically important. For some reason, there's a lot of entrepreneurs who think it's about them, and the individual need to be the person to do it.
Yeah.
And
so in that part, I'm really lucky that I could meet up with some of my core members from the Media Network Laboratory in KAIST. And since that, we've done so many research and the project together, and so our teamwork is really good.
Yep.
And actually, there were some period that everybody was working for some other projects, some other degree, some other company. So, but that kind of teamwork that made us to like working back together.
Yep.
Because we miss them. When you work with the people you really trust and really super talented, it makes you really excited, and you can share the vision together. It's really amazing thing.
And it's interesting, I think everybody in their career, and it sounds like you're fortunate to have it earlier in your career, but every company in their career at some point has had that experience where you've just been, you found that team, you found the right organization. I was involved in one company, and to this day, even though it was, almost 20 years ago, I still get emails from people saying, I'm still searching for the next company like that. I want to recreate that experience someplace. And what I tell people is you're not going to go find it. You need to go create it. Don't wait for somebody else to say, well, nobody else has created this experience, right? Yeah. If you've got a good team, go do something, but put that team together. Take the responsibility for it. Yes. And it's an interesting challenge. So if people want to follow what you and the company are doing, what's the best place for them to go check you out and see what's up to? Website, social media?
We have like a website. It's like hecaslab.com.
So it's HECASLAB.com. Hecaslab.com. We'll have that link in the show notes, so just hop on over to Killer Innovations. And I'm assuming over there on the website is all the information, social media and all that, so they can keep up with what you guys are doing, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll have all those links over at the killerinnovations.com, so you can check that out. Thank you very much for taking your time out of the show here, Consumer Electronics Show here in Las Vegas and CES 2018. Really enjoyed you participating in our event on Monday down at the Four Seasons. Great success. People loved what you guys were showing. A lot of interest in our industry, given it's in the media space. So you were talking everybody's language, and you guys did a great job in your presentation.
Thank you so much. It was a very great opportunity for me to come to pitch on the event on Monday, hosted by you, and for the recording of this show. It's amazing experience for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. With that, we're going to wrap up today's show. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here at the show. If you've got a guest or a topic or even a question you would like to have answered in the show, drop me a note, phil@killerinnovations.com. That email comes directly to me, doesn't get filtered, does not get viewed by somebody. That comes directly to me. We are here in Las Vegas. We're in the mobile studio. We will be grabbing some more interviews this week, and we'll be putting those up for all of you to listen. And with that, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you very much. Again, my advice to you as innovators is don't let the innovation antibodies get you down. Don't let the critics depress you and distract you from what you know is the right thing. Take that idea, take that thing that's really your burning desire, turn that into a real product, turn that into a real service, find that customer, solve a problem, go out there and change the world. We need innovators to solve some of our biggest challenges, and that could be you. So get out there and help us change the world. With that, thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week here on Killer Innovations on the BizTalk Radio Network.